Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. I'm sorry, I'm chuckling because I'm trying to think of the title of this video, or at least the opening line. In what can only be described as a collective meh from the voting and spiritual public of the United States, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., aka the dude with the brainworm, just lost a court case in New York brought by a Democratic PAC, that alleged that he claims he's a New York resident on his campaign forms, but that he isn't. He actually is a California resident. Now, if you don't know the story, thank your lucky stars. I'll give you the 30-second update with it as soon as I close this video. That's annoying me. RFK listed himself as a resident of New York, I believe upstate. Not that that matters. But he listed himself as a resident of New York. And it turns out 10 years ago he moved in with his wife into her house in Los Angeles. As he was getting ready to run, he had filed his paperwork, and somebody challenged him on it, saying, they couldn't find evidence that he was living in New York. Well, he claimed he was renting a room from this woman who was a family friend. He was paying $500 a month. The minute this reporter started snooping around, RFK Jr. wrote this woman a check for $6,000, which would be 12 months at $500 a month. And he wrote that this was for back rent. So he could make the argument, oh, I've been living there for a year. I paid $6,000. Here's a check. In fact, I wrote back rent on it so that you know that that's the truth. And I'm not totally lying and making this up. Well, this went to a judge who reviewed that amongst other evidence and testimony from people. And long and short of it, the judge ruled that RFK Jr. was not a resident of New York, and therefore his name should be taken off the New York ballot because the signatures he gathered had an error in it saying that he was from New York. So they're not legitimate signatures to get him on the ballot. This will be appealed, of course. But RFK and his team also acknowledged that if they can't win this appeal, this could impact other states where he's registered. So I want to look at the energy of RFK. Will he win his appeal? And if he doesn't, how is that going to impact his viability in other states? Now, what's interesting is that the Trump campaign's been trying to get RFK to drop out because their polling shows that he's basically taking the QAnon crowd, and the QAnon, well, I'm making that up. I don't know what crowd he's taking, but I'm going to make the reasonable assumption that he's taking the flat earthers and the QAnon crowd and the anti-maskers and anti-vaxxers out of the Democratic and Republican camps and putting them into the RFK camp. Now, if you were to take this group of people and break them down percentage-wise, what percentage of Democrats do you think are anti-mask, anti-vax, flat earth, QAnon folks versus Republicans? 9-1? 5-1, 9-1, 20-1? It's probably heavily weighted towards Republicans. So Trump would probably do better in New York if RFK is off the ballot. But on swing states, that could be interesting to see. So let's take a look at RFK's situation in New York. Will he win his appeal in New York City? In New York State, excuse me. Entertainment purposes only. Well, there we're going to get the Four of Wands here. This is the welcome in or get your butt out card. Right now, current energy is, or the current situation is, they said, bye-bye, you're not a resident, have fun in California. California's the place you ought to be, so pack up the truck and move to Beverly. Crossed with the High Priestess and the Star card. RFK is a well-known figure, which means that his whereabouts, his interactions with people and such It's going to be fairly well known. It's not like he's flying under the radar. And we have divine feminine wisdom here. You ask the questions, you get the answers. Now, until this PAC started challenging RFK on the ballot, he was going to be on the ballot. But the minute they did that and the courts looked at it, they could see quite easily that, he was in Hollywood with the stars, or in California anyways, with his wife, who is a star, and he's been living with his wife for 10 years. His story about renting a room that he barely stays in like once a year just doesn't make any sense. In the past, you got the Tower card. Okay, so this was I don't know why he decided to go this route. This might have been a foolish decision on his part, but this is a sudden ending to things. So the decision's been made. I don't think his campaign was geared up for this, especially since they've used that data in other states. Current situation is the Four of Coins. Now it's damage control time. Can we tie this up in the courts so that I'm on the ballot? Can we prevent this from kicking me off the ballot in other states? For New York, it's probably not that big a deal. We expect New York to go blue. Where it is going to be a bigger deal are states that are more purple, battleground states, or states that are lightly red, that have folks that embrace that, because that could be a lot of loss off of Donald Trump's camp. Now, for the Democrats, they would be concerned that he's got the Kennedy last name, and people might vote for him because he's a Kennedy. But the whole Kennedy family is pretty much coming out against him and said, "Don't vote for my brother, or my cousin. He's crazy." Overarching energy is the Ace of Wands. Strong action was taken. Strong action needs to be taken. If he wants to stay on these ballots, he's got to fight. He's going to have to fight to stay on it. It's going to be a challenge to overcome this appeal. I'll be curious. But he's going to fight it. He will fight it all the way up to the state Supreme Court. He fully intends on fighting this thing. Or not the state Supreme Court. I guess it's the appeals court. New York does things a little bit differently. For most states, it would be the state Supreme Court. So the New York equivalent of every other state's Supreme Court, their final court, their appeals court. He'll be fighting with it all the way to there. And if he has to, he'll fight it in other states as well. Out comes the Queen of Swords. I think the problem he's going to run into, though, is the letter of the law is the letter of the law. This judge ruled that you don't live where you said you lived. And, it's going to be harder upon appeal to overturn that judgment, because the evidence suggests that you don't live there. And usually in New York, in order to win the appeal, you need to show that the judge made some type of legal judgment error. I want to use the word malfeasance. It sounds so impressive, but I have no idea what it means. I have to look it up. In other words, the judge has to screw up a legal rule. Not that I didn't like the judge's answer. Could you change the answer for me because you like me better than you like her? That doesn't work in New York. That's not how it works. You can only challenge the judge on legal errors that the judge made. So I think it's going to be upheld in New York, but now he's going to have to fight it in other states. So let's take a look at that. Will he be successful in staying on the ballot in other states? Or what's the energy around other states? Got the Lover's card there, just popped up. It's getting a bit late in the game to file lawsuits to get him off the ballots. You know what I mean? Because the ballots are going to be printed up in the next month. So it might be hard to get him off of those things. Okay. How's he going to do with other states in this ruling? Justice card. Well, I could be wrong. He's going to go through the court systems. Fair is fair. Right is right. And a celebration. I think justice is going to win out in the day. Who's it going to win out for? Page of Cups is my QAnon card. This is my Flat Earthers card, my anti-maskers, anti-vaxxers, believing the QAnon BS. Maybe the QAnon folks underneath it are going to be upset with the justice system, or they'll be really happy and celebrate the justice system because justice moves too slowly. But underneath it all, it impacts... This is the group of voters it's impacting. In the past, you got the Eight of Wands. Things moving quickly. I think now that this decision's been made in New York, you're probably going to see a lot of lawsuits filed in a bunch of different states rather quickly. Current situation is the Five of Coins. These states are going to file, say he's an illegitimate candidate. He did not file in the paperwork appropriately, as ruled by New York. And he filed the same paperwork in our state, and there's an error that's been adjudicated in New York. The overarching energy is the Knight of Cups. Yeah, I mean, this could be RFK looking out for trying to find political allies to prevent this from happening. I don't think a heartfelt apology is going to carry much legal weight. It's not like they're throwing him in prison for this. I just think this ruling is the gift that's needed for these other states to take action. Again, the lesson to be learned is the Queen of Swords. You knew you weren't a resident of New York. You said you were. That was an obvious falsehood. It was proven in court. Sorry, that's not how the game is played. You need to go apologize to all your blue cat wearing, fish cup drinking, flat earth believing supporters that you messed up. You're the one who did this. Outcome is the Four of Swords. The best thing that RFK can hope for is that he can somehow tie this up in the court systems. Otherwise, his irrelevant political campaign is going to become even more irrelevant because he's going to be off of most of the state's ballots. He's going to go quiet. He's going dark. You got the stained glass window in both the Four of Swords and the Five of Coins. So in some ways, his supporters are the ones that are left out in the cold. They don't have their obvious choice to put in there. We should probably do a quick little reading on Donald Trump, because Donald Trump has wanted RFK to drop out. He's wanted RFK to drop out for a while. Because, again, his polling would show that Trump wants all the anti-maskers, anti-vaxxers, the flat earthers, the brainworm folks. Now, it's not to say all of RFK's supporters are like that. Some like his policies and the things that he represents. But the problem is that he attracts that other group of people. And they're much louder, they're vocal, they're visible. So if I've been generalizing you and lumping you in with those crowds and you're offended, sorry about that, but that's the company that RFK keeps. They're guilty by association isn't fair, but it's done all the time. Sorry? All right. How's Trump going to... Little four-carder. How's Trump going to view the dropping out of RFK? Is he going to be excited by this? Well, he's going to be torn. There's probably some states he'd like RFK to stay in there because it would hurt Harris. And there's definitely states he doesn't want RFK in there. It's a mixed bag for Trump. I think overall, we'll see. It's a mixed bag. Queen of Swords. Because if RFK's caught cheating, what if Trump's caught cheating? Heaven forbid that we're enforcing rules around here. Oh, the Five of Wands, the Hillbilly Brawl card. Knight of Pentacles. Seven of Swords. Oh! Trump was offering RFK all of these concessions if he would drop out. I wonder if RFK is going to take him up on it now. And now he's going to have to pay whatever he's going to do, and Trump's got nothing to show for it because RFK would have been kicked out anyways. What do we have underneath here? We've got the Two of Swords. I was asking, how is Trump feeling? Two of Swords at a crossroads here. I think he liked RFK because RFK was kind of a chaos agent and really scrambled things up. And I think Trump had figured out ways to weaponize RFK against the Democrats, but if in the state was going to hurt Trump, he was going to offer RFK something to drop out. Ultimately, Trump is, I think he's going to feel like he got away with something here. I think RFK hurts Trump more than he helps Trump in the end of the day. But it might depend on the day how Trump is feeling about this. Overall, I think he's going to be a little bit relieved unless his latest plan of chaos agenting involved RFK doing something that Trump thought could be beneficial to his campaign. In which case, that looks like it might be off the table. Anyway, we'll find out. There'll be more court cases to come with that. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I hope you found this reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.